Rule number one, you know my name, not my story.
Let's be real for a second. If you love your fat friend, you should actually be telling them the truth. Because what's it about not inviting fat friends to outings or to hangouts where you think only a certain type of people in the eyes of society are allowed to go in there, but you are not actively telling them the truth or doing anything that would help them better themselves? Because guess what? Talking about fat or giving anyone advice regarding losing some weight has become taboo in society, and that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. If you've been subscribed to this channel, you'd see that I've talked about the skinny friend in the previous episode. I'll leave you to catch up with that, okay? And now in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the fat friend, and caring for the fat friend is basically telling them the truth, which many people do not seem to realize. Now, telling anyone the truth shouldn't be done in a mean way. Let's take that out, okay? So, not in a mean girl way, telling someone like, oh, you're fat. Yes, I don't know how people do it these days, but we're not trying to be mean here, and we're not trying to humble people for sure. But what we're trying to do is make sure that as we are staying on our health and fitness goals, our friends are actually coming with us rather than something I tend to see in society, which is where people try to make shallow friendships off the fact that you are skinny, I'm skinny, let's be friends. And it's not rooted in what real friendship is. It's not rooted on any solid foundation. And so for that reason, these shallow friendships tend to crumble under the weight of real life. But guess what you can do instead? You already have genuine friends. You can help them be the best version of themselves. So you can talk about the same things. You can talk about the same skinny things. You can talk about the same health and fitness stuff. Okay? You don't need to go make like new friends altogether. Because you know what? Real love is not cuddling each other and like hiding the truth and just like covering up areas that are uncomfortable. Real love involves speaking about uncomfortable truths as well. Now, I'm sure that a couple of people are already mad, but let's clear this up. Being fat is not a crime. Sometimes it is genetics have not exactly favored you. And when I say genetics do not favor people, I'm saying like, I know it's not only genetics that make people fat. I'm not leaving out things like PCOS and other health conditions. I'm talking about genetics may make your metabolism slower and things like that. So like we are being realistic and we are being considerate of that for people, but we're not saying like, oh, genetics absolutely makes you fat. It's more about correlation than causation. So yeah, I say all that to say that being fat is not a crime. But if you have a friend that's struggling with, you know, motivation or their health or their fitness, or they can't just take a flight of stairs, that should be a cause for concern, and you shouldn't sweep that under the rug. I think if someone, maybe especially in their 20s, struggle to take a flight of stairs and you're fit and healthy, then as their friend, it's okay to have a conversation, again, not in a mean way, but just calling it to their attention that, is this something you need to keep an eye on? If someone is stressed from like, you know, life activities and all of that, understandable, but if it's something constant where you have a friend that cannot go uphill and it's like losing their breath and things like that because they are overweight, I think that is what talking about, because these things kill people. We're seeing a rise in death of young people of recent, and I'm not saying this is not happening caveman era, applies to nuance, but I'm just saying that generally these things happen, and whatever we can do to make sure our friends stay safe and, you know, we just avoid whatever diseases we can, that will be very good. So let's look at some common examples. Sometimes you have a friend, let's say for instance, is struggling to go up a flight of stairs, then you go, oh, just take the lift. And you constantly see this, but you do nothing about this. Instead of reacting like that, what you can actually do that will be helpful is like, oh, is this something you're bothered about? Is this something you want us to work on together, where I help you track these fitness goals? Of course, you can't force a horse to the river and you can force them to drink. I don't think you can actually, well, if it's your horse, you probably can, but you get my point, right? You probably can't force them to drink, but you can force them to the river, right? So yeah, you can't force them, you can't force your friend to do anything anyway, but just asking sometimes. Some people are up for a challenge and sometimes they just need like an accountability partner or something. So rather than sweeping that under the rug, is work like saying, oh, is that something you want to work on? That may be something that ends up being helpful. Another example would be a friend that constantly complains about their body. Oh my god, my clothes don't fit anymore, I'm just getting bigger and all of that. And you just go, oh, you're gorgeous the way you are, which is what society typically encourages us to do these days. Oh, you're gorgeous the way you are, you don't need to change, you're beautiful the way you are. But now we see that now the celebrities like Lizzo are losing weight and all of that, people are like, oh, she looks even more pretty. It's making people want to lose weight. That tells us that before now, there has been something there. There has been, you know, that itch to want to lose weight before now that was just like, you know, covered or swept up on that, oh, we have thick bodies and we are curvier and all of that. That wasn't necessarily addressed in the past, but now it is being addressed, right? And like we're seeing that people actually want to. So it could be worth being that friend that actually helps motivate people, especially if they're young and they should be healthy. So instead of saying, oh, you're just gorgeous, guys, like, oh, babes, do you want us to walk through actionable steps to make this better? Just talking about if they want to walk through those steps to make them better, or to make a plan around it, that is something that is more helpful rather than just saying, you're gorgeous, you got this, girl, go queen, you know. That's actually not helpful, guys. And, you know, you'd still be the same friend that ends up excluding them from certain outings because, you know, they don't fit the aesthetic of the people going to those places. This is something that I've actually seen happen in real time. So instead of that, you know, it's just worth being there for your friend the right way and speaking the truth. Let's talk about the culture of tiptoeing around fatness. Fatness has become, you know, the thing that mustn't be mentioned. It's Voldemort. It's just like, oh, don't talk about it. It exists there, but you're just not allowed to talk about it. It's not acceptable society. And why is that? Like, why do we want our friends and family members to accept themselves in a toxic way? But in the end, we still see that in many cases you don't get invited to certain things, or you're not keen to discuss their health with them when they bring it up because we're just like scared that, oh, if we say that you're bigger, what it's going to like result into. I know there's been the other extreme in the past where, you know, people were forced to just lose weight in a way that was not healthy and all of that because of societal standards, and we're trying to find the balance there. But the key word is balance, isn't it? No extreme. So no extreme to thinness, no extreme to fatness, unless that's what someone wants. Unless someone wants to be skinny, then they'll probably check out my skinny privilege series, because skinny privilege does exist. So like check that video out if you actually care about the aesthetics of being skinny and you want to be skinny, right? But otherwise, if you don't care about that, just keep on watching this video. I've linked that playlist up there, by the way. Subscribe to this channel as well, because there's more always coming, like I promised earlier this year. I've kept my promise, okay? And another thing we tend to do is overcompensate by exaggerating lots of compliments for these people. Oh, you're gorgeous the way you are. You know, when someone, you know, it's all really fake. I don't know if people actually sense that. It's like, not really fake. I'm not buying that, you know? So like, if you can be that fake, why not be real? If you can, you know, lie to their faces, okay. Yeah, people struggle with the truth. I know, like, yeah, you're telling a lie. Why do you want to lie to your friend at all? Like, we should be more vocal about these things, especially from a health perspective, not just the aesthetics of it. It's like the aesthetics are great, but health, very important. Like a young person in their 20s should be able to take a flight of stairs with no worries. Like, it's worrying for their cardiovascular health if they are not able to do that. Hey, now that we've identified the problem in society, start tiptoeing around fatness and how like our friends are actually losing out on benefits that come with health and maybe sometimes the aesthetics of being skinny, right? So what do we do about it? What can we do about it? Okay, there are 3 things we can do to make things better. The first one, so they're called HTC. So if you want to have these conversations, think about honesty, think of compassion, and think of consent. So honesty goes like, oh, I noticed you're struggling with X. I noticed you're struggling to take the flight of stairs. Do you want us to talk about it? And that's where consent comes in. Sometimes people don't want to talk about it, and that's fine, but it also leaves room for them being able to discuss it with you at a later date. So, you know, opening up that conversation, being honest with them, and not just being, oh, gorgeous queen, and things like that. Oh, your clothes doesn't fit anymore. You know, clothes you just got last 2 months. Is that something you want to discuss about? Is there something you think you want to do about it? Like, just letting them know you're there to support them, right? So I'm being honest like that, and then asking rather than saying, oh, I think you should do this, I think you should do that, when you're not sure if they want to proceed with conversation or if they really want to do something about it. So consent is also important as we talk about, you know, honesty. And now to compassion, that one is a no-brainer. We know like the struggle and the discrimination that comes with like being bigger in society, and like, you know, how much extra self-confidence people have to, you know, and to just deal with these fat phobic people and all of that. So it's important to be compassionate as their friend. Let them know that you're not being a jerk, and that's the whole point of doing the honesty, consent, and compassion. It's not coming across as a jerk, not coming across as a mean girl, not coming across as a bully when you talk and have these conversations with your friend that is on the bigger side, okay? So it's important to do these things and let them know you're coming from a place of compassion, you're coming from a place of wanting them to be healthy and fit. You're not coming from a place of being a bully, you're not coming from a place of saying you're better than them in any way, because that may be further from the truth, okay? So these are things that are important to think about. at the end of the day, caring for someone, loving for someone, being a friend is a complex thing. Sometimes this involves having conversations that are uncomfortable, and sometimes you may just be the only friend that may be able to do that. Okay, so I think do it. I think have the tough conversations. I think, tell the truth to your friend with your consent, and be that friend that's happy to help them come up with a plan to make things better. Have you been in this situation before? Do you think this is something you'll be implementing going forward? Let me know in the comment section. And if you've enjoyed this video, I would see you in my next videos talking about how corporations are charging you skinny tax. See you there.